Now, the Waffen-SS were largely non-Germans. There were Germans there. They are the core of these divisions. 29 of them were often Germans, but they were recruited from non-German or even non-Germanic peoples. And there's not been much serious scholarship. There is actually a book written on them, the different groups, and takes a much more nuanced view of what's going on. And you're also right, there is a lot of material that needs to be looked at. If you go to Stanford University, to the Hoover Institute, there's the entire the files of the Anders army, Władysław Anders' Second Polish Corps. They collected a lot of materials, and there's a lot there on the division, a lot of unanalyzed and unexplored material. There's plenty of material in other places in Germany as well. So a more detailed and a more thoughtful explanation of what the division, Ukrainian division, the Galicia division was, still needs to be brought forward into the debate. But yeah, the problem has always been that they've been classified as monsters, not just the Ukrainian Galicia division, but the word Waffen-SS itself, is already enough to evoke this idea of bloodthirsty killers, the worst of the worst, with a monstrous history, and some of it was. I mean, it was. Clearly, they were a fighting force that was quite brutal, and within the Galicia division, there were units that are quite awful, quite monstrous. The Dirlewanger Brigade, for a while, which is known as one of the most sadistic groups in the Waffen-SS, that Dirlewanger Brigade was attached to the division briefly. So, the Ukrainians carry the guilt of some of the things that the Dirlewanger Brigade did. I should also mention that there are other, to complicate things, there were 4 regiments created out of the volunteers. Only a certain number of volunteers were accepted into the division, and often because of the height requirement, a number of people were put into so-called Galicia SS regiments. They were not the Galicia division. They were never under the command of the Galicia division, and they were shipped off to do police work. So very often the charges that are raised, the accusations of misconduct or war crimes that are raised against the members of the division are in fact charges against these regiments. So the Hutapeniacka accusation, the accusation that a war crime was committed there, cannot be laid at against the Galicia division per se. It was one of the regiments or a company from one of the regiments that was there. But it's a complicated discussion, and there are many books now coming out that are looking with in much greater detail at what happened.